It's time for another edition of Live from Studio M on 105.5 Triple M. I'm your host, Jonathan Sutton. Home. That word can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For some, home can be a place you can't wait to get away from as soon as you're 18. Or home can be a place that inspires you to do great things. Today's guest in Studio M definitely uses his home for inspiration. We'll talk to him about his music, how a trip to Target and a funeral are both a big part of his latest album. But first, let's hear a song from J.J. Grey, live from Studio M.
Get behind you, run away. But you got to turn it back, live another day. Whistling the salt rack, mother in the pine. Lift your hands up and away, lift them off your eye. Oh yeah, playing hide and seek. Put my eyes are wide open. I'm playing hide and seek. Put my eyes are wide open. Ooh, yeah. A voice says you're right, another says you're wrong. Well, who speaks and who listens, the weak or the strong? Can you feel the fear deep within your mind? 'Cause there's no loss or gain in soul, nothing real can ever die. Oh, baby, playing hide and seek. But my eyes are wide open. Ooh, yeah. Playing hide and seek. My eyes are wide open. Ooh, yeah. Yes, and rain, all in rain. Lord, I can't blame myself. No, we have to play harmonica here. I forgot. Yeah. Standing by the DJ. Ooh, I can hear him sing that the truth it must be lived. So wake up from the dream of my best baby. My eyes are wide open. Ooh, yeah. Playing hide and seek, but my eyes are wide open. Ooh. Playing hide and seek, but my eyes are wide open. Hide and seek, but my eyes are wide open. Hide and seek, but my eyes are wide open.
J.J. Grey, we'll chat with him next here live from Studio M. Can we insert the commercial? Anything you're pimping besides your album right now?
No, just
Products?
playing a night and playing a night at Majestic and
No, but you know other products, hair gel.
barbecue sauce. I got a bunch of that still.
We're back live from Studio M on 105.5 Triple M. Our guest today is J.J. Grey. And man, first of all, you just make it seem so easy and smooth, just kind of laid back. You're working pretty hard up there.
Sometimes, yeah.
I did read, though, when it comes to writing songs, that you had said in an interview, I feel weird for taking credit for writing my music and lyrics. I don't feel like they're mine. At one point, I feel like the songs were post-it notes to myself to remind me what's important.
Yeah.
So your songwriting process is just always happening, or how does it
Not
go?
always. It's just like it's a conversation, and sometimes it happens, and a conversation with yourself, but not the little voice in your head that's always arguing and crying and complaining, but just another one, and you don't actually hear it. It just happens, but for me, it's just writing. I was just talking with somebody. It's more about learning how not to write is when it really starts to get interesting, because then you don't write anymore. It's just a conversation, and I feel like if a conversation like what we're having right now, I'm saying something that might make you think of something to ask, or instead of we both read off pieces of paper back and forth, it's not a conversation.
Just put these away right now.
Those are just notes.
Right.
That's different. But at any rate, if every conversation was rehearsed and thought out, there wouldn't be much to it. So it's usually when people just talk freely, and the next thing you know, an hour's gone by, they don't realize it. They haven't seen each other in a while or whatever. And I feel like songs, for me, that's how they come. They come like that.
Right. Now, you grew up in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, Florida, a lot of times, and I think people think of like Disney World and like also like dumb criminal stories. A lot of times.
Yeah, Florida man.
A Florida man did this or that. But I feel like the part of Florida you're from, and also my aunt and uncle lived there, and they're like, they won't be listening to this. They're like very plasticky, like Boca Raton, like that kind of whole scene, which is not so great. But the Florida that you're from is a lot different, I guess, right? Can you kind of describe a little bit more?
Yeah, it's different in ways, and in some ways it's very similar to that. But it's like any place. You can, if you're not careful, you won't notice there's real things happening everywhere all the time, but it's where I grew up is it's like in the woods outside of Jacksonville, and it's a totally different scene than say somewhere in South Florida. Although I love South Florida, I love going to Miami, but for me, I love going to a city, but I love getting out of it. I grew up outside of it, but it's exciting to go. The electricity, the energy, and then it's like, all right, it's like getting on a roller coaster ride. It's like sooner or later I want it to stop and get off for a minute.
For sure. But so then, as far as your family, was everybody musical? Like, give us a little more like description of that, like growing up, what that was.
No, my mom sang in the choir, my brother sang in the choir, and I didn't. But I was more of like when nobody's around, clear the coffee table off and put on a show for myself. Trying to emulate Bon Scott of AC/DC or Stevie Wonder or Michael Jackson, do the Jackson 5 thing, the whole thing, all that kind of music.
If we would have had cell phones back then, somebody would have probably
Thank goodness
videotaped
we
that.
don't,
Yeah. But so then what inspired you to pick up the guitar?
I just liked it, and I loved, somebody played the Eddie Van Halen Eruption, which I'm sure inspired legions of guitarists. And a guy sold me a guitar and an amp for $15, and it had like 3 strings, and I found out real quick, it's actually, you gotta practice and work to be able to do all that stuff. So
Right.
I started like singing more and playing guitar less.
How old were you when you wrote your first song?
I was 16, 17.
Do you know what that is,
Mhm.
that song?
Mm-hmm. It was, I don't remember how it goes or nothing, I just remember what it was about. It was about a dude tripping out on a lady on television. Yeah, it's like the girl behind the glass or something silly. I don't remember, it was terrible. Those things you're happy to forget.
So you're not singing that one for us now?
Nah, it's not. Yeah.
All right, well, we are ready for another one. What do you want to do for us?
This is a song called The Island, about where I live. So many things you've seen, so many stories long forgotten, so many deeds between, shouting out across the bottom
ghostly twilight, a bosom filled with shining stars. Her secrets sing down through the ages, as bright as lightning bugs and jars. Oh, beneath the cannot be of ageless songs whose secrets keep forever in a beauty. This island is my home. Rolling hills by hands were built by natives who were never found. The only hints left of their passing are ancient shells that ghost the ground. Bone white, they tell a story of all the slaves who graced the shores, of cotton fields so long plowed under, a jungle now upon a storm. Oh, beneath the canopy of ageless songs whose secrets keep forever in a beauty. This island is my home. Oh, oh. Oh, beneath the canopy of ageless songs whose secrets keep forever in a beauty. Oh, in a beauty. This island is my home.
You write such a beautiful song about an awesome place. Now we all want to go there. Maybe you should have written the song because you want to kind of keep it more remote, right?
It's 900 acres of this island, but 860 is national park, so, and there's nowhere left to, there's only 20 houses on it, so there's nowhere left to go, thankfully. It just it'll stay that way for a long time.
So you don't do you live in that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. So how many neighbors do you have?
Just a handful. I got my buddy Daryl through the woods, a lady next door, and there's an ancient old church right down the road, some kind of church. And
Did you call him Daryl through the woods?
Daryl, my buddy Daryl. It's not my buddy Daryl I play music with. He's
That's how you distinguish
he lives
it.
down the
Music
road.
Daryl and Daryl through the woods. Yeah. So do you know these neighbors, and do they know who you are and the music you play, or do they ever like, hey, let's have a sing along out here or something like that?
You know, just kind of more like let's just get together and find an excuse to drink a little bit, and then who knows, the guitar might get brought out. That kind of a thing, you know.
That would be amazing.
They make apple butter every year too.
So the album Old Glory, I've heard a little bit about the story of the name of it, but it was something to do with a funeral. I didn't get the whole.
Yeah, my uncle yelled out Old Glory, and it's just something, it just brought back a flood of memories when my grandmother died, that when he yelled that out, I remember hearing people yell that out at church, you know, for years. And in Europe, they kept thinking it was about the American flag, and I was like, well, you know, it's not, but it's about just hearing that phrase in the sort of in the culture I guess I grew up in, where people, when they felt moved, they would just yell that out, you know. So to me, it was more of like a tribute to life and feeling it, you know, and living it, good and bad.
In the moment, like.
Yeah, in the moment, you know.
Well, so did he like during the funeral he shouted out?
Yeah,
like,
my aunt and
every
uncle were
time?
singing "I'll Fly Away,"
Oh, okay.
and he just jumped up and yelled it.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know if it was
He didn't
like,
even know he jumped up and yelled it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So, but people were into it, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, nobody noticed. I mean, because they were probably in the same zone. My aunt and uncle, and they were shelling it down. It was coming on strong. So they just, boom, we just went this place.
I just feel like I want to hang out with your family. That'd be like a spiritual experience.
Sometimes it's the exact opposite.
Now, you have a little girl, right? How old is she?
She's 6.
Okay. And so is that made things easier or harder when it comes to writing? Or,
It's easier. It's just like, you know, it's just one more new thing, you know, and for me, people think that, you know, children come and we're here to teach them, and then sometimes it feels like it's the other way around. So she just shows me things all the time, and it just pops up into songs and stuff like that. It's harder to go on the road. You know, the first day I'm kicking and screaming, you know, being drove away, and then after I get on the road, I'm like, all right, it's all good.
Yeah, used to, yeah.
Yeah, I can talk to her on the phone. Yeah.
Sure. So did she, it's funny sometimes because we'll talk to musicians where like their kids will like hate their music. You know, we'll have a whole audience who loves them and their kids are just not into it at all. Maybe she's still too young.
She loves it.
She loves it,
But
yeah,
she
okay.
loves all kinds of things. We've really, you know, not on purpose, but just exposed her to a lot of old soul music and old reggae, revival music, and all that kind of stuff. Rock and, you know, Queen, you know, she loves We Are the Champions and singing all that Bohemian Rhapsody, all the way to, you know, singing Michael Jackson stuff, anything. So she loves the song Tic Tac Toe. I think that's her favorite. She's always asking me to put it on in the car. And then if I start singing, she's no, I don't want you to sing.
Don't ruin it.
I want to sing it.
And I'm so jealous of musicians. I feel like if you know, for her to get to sleep, like you could just bring in the guitar and do a lullaby. That sounds awesome.
But then what it turned into is she'd want to grab the guitar, and then it would just turn into this other thing. So she's really into that, and so I usually read to her. Just read something to her. It ain't long. She's falling asleep.
Okay, we're ready for another one. What you gonna do for
That's
us?
the title track when we were just talking about.
Okay, great. It's totally great.
Can you feel it, babe? Can you stop and really feel it? I don't mean think about it. I don't mean they'll talk about it. I mean feel it. I mean love. I mean living, babe. And I mean love. Can you feel it when it's dark? Can you feel it when it shines? Can you hear it in the ocean? Can you smell it in the pine? Can you taste it when you breathe in? Can you hear it when it roars? And you know it in the dark, in the bad, inside the joy, in the glory. used to hide, I ain't gonna hide no more. There's a place I used to hide, I ain't gonna hide no more. There's a place I used to hide, I ain't gonna hide no more. There's a place I used to hide, I ain't gonna hide no more. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. Can you feel it? Yes I feel it. Can you feel it? Yes I feel it. Do you love it? Yes I love it. Do you love it? Yes I love it. Do you need it? Yes I need it. Do you need it? Yes I need it. Do you want it? Yes I want it. Do you want it? Yes I want it. It's a love rabbit. It's a love thing. It's a love rabbit, yeah. A heartbeat, worlds are born in a heartbeat. Worlds collide in a heartbeat. Worlds are born in a heartbeat. Worlds collide.
Like everybody in the audience just want to be like, oh glory! Stay in our seats. Wow. Just you and the guitar. Man,
That's
that
the
was
first time I ever did that like that. That was fun.
That was great. Did you hurt yourself? That was great.
My fingers were hurt.
That was fantastic. Now you mentioned when you went to Europe, they were thinking that that's about the flag and stuff.
Mhm.
Traveling, have you gone to Europe a lot to tour?
Yeah, we went twice this year.
And does it seem like totally different and they love it, or are the crowds, the way they react different than they do here in the States?
They're
looking
quieter.
at their phones, they're quieter?
Very, you know, especially in Germany, they listen to every little thing, but they get rowdy too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome. I love going over and playing. You know, I like the contrast. I love a good old fashioned knockdown drag out here. You know, where people are pretty rowdy from the get go, and also like it when people are like. Sometimes it's different. You get more subtle. You play subtle things, and you don't hit people over the head with a stick from the start. You know,
Right.
You get there, but you start out somewhere else, and so it's fun. And that happens here in the States too, as well, in places. But and it was just almost like whoa. It was dead silent. I'm like, almost like, please talk among yourselves. A little too much, you know. Like, oh God. One of those things.
You still do a lot of surfing, or?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. There's hopefully a little swell coming this week when I get home from from Danny, that little tropical storm down there. So hopefully it'll hit our swell window. I think it's going to slip to the Gulf, but maybe we'll get a little something out of it. It's been a pretty rough summer. Every summer in Florida's flat, so.
Yeah. You could hear on our lake, Lake Minnetonka. Great way of going. Now, I also read that you said once, I was touring with pneumonia for a year.
Yes.
And that's not an opening band, right? I mean,
No.
did you? So, seriously?
Yes.
Like, was that a long time ago?
At least, maybe it was a year and a half.
Wow. Was that how long?
I just stayed sick perpetually, and it all started with too many antibiotics in too short a time space,
Right.
and the dreaded road cold. But I met a guy's a great friend of mine now, a doctor buddy of mine in Colorado, and he kind of slapped me into shape with stuff that had nothing to do with medicine or food or anything, because I was doing everything right by the book anyway, you would think,
Right.
and it just wasn't working.
But how did you get then for doing performances and stuff? Just
I
once
just-
you're on the stage, you
just-
just kind of forget?
I'll holler my way through everything,
Yeah. But you're okay now?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. My voice is a little croaky in the morning. Well, this ain't that in the morning, but you know, I haven't spoken much, so
This is morning for you. For a musician,
yeah,
this is
it
morning.
takes a little while for it to warm up.
Absolutely. Okay, we do it. You're all warmed up now, I think. We have time for one more.
Yeah.
What do you want to finish with?
This is a song off of a country ghetto called "The Sun Is Shining Down."
Okay, great.
How many more days can you hold out? How much longer can you wait? She asked. There was a time I thought I could answer, but my tongue, yes, died as my thoughts drift away. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The sun is shining down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. I'm alive and I'm feeling lost, feeling fine. All those simple thoughts, all them peaceful dreams, share the space with a hard one day. But it's the little things, not